For nearly 4 years, the world's most popular group was absent. Mandatory military service in South Korea pulled the 7 members of BTS into uniform, leaving a void in the pop landscape that remained unfilled for half a decade. When they finally returned in early 2026 with the album Arirang, the numbers were staggering. This chart compares that return against standard industry benchmarks, highlighting the 641,000 units the group moved in the US in its first week alone. The global interest was just as massive. 18.4 million people tuned in to their Netflix comeback concert, streamed live from Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul. But while the data suggested a seamless return to global dominance, an internal conflict within the fanbase was already threatening the celebration. Immediately after the album dropped, a debate erupted across social media regarding the tracklist's hierarchy. 2 songs stood at the center of the division: the upbeat English-heavy lead single Swim and a deeply emotional, Suga-produced track called Come Over. Dedicated fans questioned why a polished, radio-friendly song was chosen as the face of the comeback rather than the personal track that addressed the years they had spent waiting. This friction highlights the core dilemma for returning pop acts: the need to capture a broad mainstream audience while simultaneously offering an intimate apology to the fans who never left. Swim was a specific strategic tool. It was designed as an accessible entry point, meant to welcome the general public back to the band's music without friction. The production reflected this commercial intent. The group enlisted Ryan Tedder, a writer and producer responsible for some of the biggest pop hits of the last decade, to help craft the track. The tactic worked. Swim hit #1 on the global charts and secured heavy rotation on radio stations from Los Angeles to Berlin. But while Swim handled the mainstream, the rest of the album grounded that success in the group's specific Korean heritage. Track 6, for instance, is a 1-minute and 38-second recording of the bell of King Song-dok. The duration corresponds exactly to the time the ancient bronze bell vibrates when struck. By combining a global pop hit with these deep cultural roots, BTS secured the mainstream market without distancing themselves from the identity that made them famous. Come Over, however, was performing a completely different task. It wasn't just a B-side, it was aimed specifically at the group's most loyal followers. Written by the band's rap line, the lyrics are a direct plea for acceptance. It is the sound of artists asking their fans if they will still be welcomed back after such a long absence. To protect the song's impact, the label initially kept it off streaming services. It was available only as the 15th track on the deluxe vinyl edition of the album. This move created a surge in physical sales, while preventing Come Over from competing with the streaming data required to keep Swim at the top of the charts. The scarcity wasn't a hurdle for fans, but a mechanism to separate 2 different audiences. It allowed the band to satisfy the general public and the core fandom simultaneously, without the 2 groups interfering with each other's metrics. The strategy reached its conclusion in June 2026, during Festa, the band's annual celebration of their debut. The theme, 13 BTS, framed the anniversary as a transition beyond their first 12 years, signaling a chapter built on their continued connection with their fans. On June 12th, the band moved Come Over onto global streaming platforms as an anniversary gift. The reaction was immediate. By delaying the streaming release, the group ensured that the song's emotional weight wasn't lost in the initial album drop, maximizing the impact of the reunion. This move finally resolved the debate from March. Swim was never meant to replace Come Over. They were 2 halves of a single, coordinated rollout. BTS avoided the common pitfall of long-running acts by recognizing that their casual listeners and their dedicated core fans required different points of entry. This entire strategy was coordinated by the members, immediately following a 4-year separation from one another. BTS didn't just return to the charts. They demonstrated how to dominate a global market while keeping the cultural and personal foundations of their career intact.